With all the crises about to take place, what should we do with all the money that we have saved for the future or invested? Can you?
Sure. Mrs. White talks about a time. First of all, I'm not a financial expert. I do not give financial advice. Okay? That's just to protect me so nobody sues me. Okay? So this isn't financial advice, but when you read the Spirit of Prophecy, it's very clear that there's those people who have investments that they want to liquidate, but when the time when they cannot buy or sell comes, their investments are lost. Okay, whether it's in a pension fund, or whether it's in some bonds, or some shares, or in property, it's stuck, whether it's in gold, or silver, or platinum, whether it's in a mining company, whatever it is, wherever you've invested your money, if it's not liquidated beforehand and used for the kingdom, you've lost it forever. Okay? Now, when to do it is the big question. That's the main question. That's the question I don't answer.
Okay.
I can tell you from my experience, okay? But my experience shouldn't be taken for something that you should do. Understood? Mm. So both my wife and I have liquidated our pensions. Okay? Taken out all our money, and we're not investing in the future. The reason why Mrs. White says about Noah, she says this: Noah invested everything in the ark. Everything in his ark. So in my mind, let's liquidate everything and put it in the ark. God will sustain us throughout. Okay? So I've stopped trusting money and I'm trusting God.
All right. Most of these that we're focusing on now are country living, and there's a number of other very interesting questions. How do we protect our properties from being taken by the government? And if I'm unable to buy a property, will it be safe to rent during the little and big time of trouble?
Okay. So, first question, how do you protect your property from the government from when they want to take all the assets? So from the story of Joseph, what we understand is that the priests were protected. The priests were protected. They were excluded from that. So what we've done as a ministry is we've formed a charity, and it's a 508. That's a type of charity in America, and that is labeled as a church organization. Okay? And so most charities in America are 501s. Now, the thing about 501s is that you cannot speak against a political figure for or against, and the people who decide what a charity should do is the government. So with a 508, you don't have those restrictions, okay? And so we believe, and it's only our opinion, my opinion, a human opinion, not a divine opinion. We believe that what happened in Genesis 47 will happen again, and what we need to do is put our assets into our ministry and have that ministry as a church organization. So that's what we've done. If you do it, okay, and the second question was,
if I'm unable to buy, is it safe to rent?
If you're unable to buy, is it safe to rent? So if you're literally you're unable to buy, okay, what you need to do is learn some marketable skills. What do we mean marketable skills? So God is setting up a network of outposts around the world. All these outposts are looking for people. There's 4 key positions on an outpost: the pastor or the spiritual leader, the doctor or the medical leader, the farmer, and the cook. Those are the 4 key roles, okay? You need to have skills that pertain to one of those roles, okay? So that when an outpost is looking for a particular person, they see your spiritual resume, your spiritual CV, and say, oh, you've got those skills. We need those skills. Why don't you come and work with us? Okay? So you need to have your skills. If you can't do anything, outposts are unlikely to take you because you're dead wood. Okay? It's hard enough to survive as an outpost by itself, let alone to take on additional burdens. So you need to learn some skills. Secondly, you should get some accommodation with yourself. So if you can buy an RV or something, then you can move on to somebody's property and assist them with the ministry that they are doing. Now, if you're renting, you do not know if your landlord is going to receive the seal of God or the mark of the beast. Okay? You just do not know. And we do not know until the shaking. So it's very important that you try to be independent even though you cannot own land. Get some skills, some marketable skills, get some accommodation so that you're free to go to any outpost that desires you. You can set up there, settle down there. If things turn sour there, you just pull out the plug and you're on your way to somewhere that is suitable.
Thank you, Pastor Hines. So now in South Africa, we have an interesting dynamic that Joe's just going to speak to for a few seconds with regards to land and accessibility to land.
Okay, so I've already explained partially here to Pastor Hines what has happened in South Africa post-apartheid is that they're trying to set the balance back that more blacks own land, all right? So what's actually happening in our situation here in South Africa is the government is buying the land but not giving it to people. So it's government possession, and that's why our government is loaning a lot of money to keep SABC and SAL and Eskom and everything afloat, because they're loaning money against land. So they buying white farmers' lands, promising it to black people, but they're using it as security. But if you are a black person, which is favorable for you at the moment, there's a lot of ex-white farms which you can get available at a very low rate, and the government will also give you a start-off, kick-off amount. It is not enough money to sustain yourself as a farmer. So I'm just saying, if you are a black person from this country and you know the right way and the rules to do it, you can get property a lot easier and better than us white people. So just know the right and political ways and things of doing it, and it is more available to you.
So what I'm hearing Joe say is we need to be working together. We need to be working strategically. And the reason we have been running the Next Steps program is to prepare us for the next phase. The next phase is forming groups and consortiums where people, and there's a number of questions, people asking like, and maybe Pastor, you'll let just touch on this. We've got elderly parents who are in retirement facilities and frail care facilities. What's going to happen with those people? Then the other question is, I'm a single parent, or I can't even afford a property currently. So Pastor's been speaking to that. We know of a church who went to auction after we started the Next Steps program, who managed to buy a property. The church, individuals, not for the organization to put their hands into or to claim, but individuals, like-minded individuals saying, we want to start a ministry out in the country. I don't have enough to do this on my own. And so tomorrow at the expo, we're going to be gathering the names to have task teams so that people in specific areas can get together and we can make plans to be better prepared. Pastor, do you want to maybe just speak to that, our elderly?
So we know that many of them will be laid to rest. Okay, so that's one reality. Okay, my mother is 84 and she has Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. So these are the sort of people that are going to be laid to rest before the time of trouble. Okay, so that is a comfort. That is a comfort. The second thing is that even as that's developing, some of the care homes will not be good places for Adventists to finish their days in. Yeah. So as God-fearing people who are connected with these elderly, we will take them out of these care homes and care for them in our own facilities, on our own land, which is better for us. Okay? So this is something that we will do. The Holy Spirit will tell you when to do it, how to do it, and with whom. But we will not let our folk, our faithful, remnant-minded folk die in these facilities. Okay?
All right, somebody asked if Advent Hope Online helps financially. We are a zero profit. We literally go month to month with our tiny operating costs, trusting that God is going to provide. But we are here to help mobilize people. And we have seen God come through. When we had this task of raising R1 million to build a church in Namibia, we thought it's impossible. And yet God did it. Because we relied on God, and that's what we want to encourage you. Just two quick more questions. Because of work, business, and the logistics surrounding these, will owning a home in the city and the countryside be advisable whilst in preparation for the difficult times coming? Once Sunday law comes into effect.
Okay, so you want to maintain two properties. Eventually, you're going to have to choose one or the other. Okay? So if you wait until the Sunday law to liquidate your city property and move to the country, all that you have invested in that property will be lost to you. It's too late. Okay? Coming out of Babylon also means eventually changing the way you work and earn your money. So some of us are enslaved to the Babylonian way of working. Okay? We're part of the system, okay? We have the degrees and whatever, and we're enslaved to it. That eventually will change, okay? God will show you what your new career is, and it will show you how you will sustain yourself and your dependents, okay? But we will eventually cut all ties with the world, okay? How he does it for you and how he did it for me are different. But as you dedicate yourself to knowing the voice of God, you will know when that time is to cut the ties with Babylon. And it's a process. It's a process. But you should be out of the city, because the cities are going to become hellish. They're not going to be the place for any God-fearing person to live. We will even get to a point where we're scared to go into the cities, even during the day. Okay?
And then I think last one for this session, the seal of God. Should we not be focused on having God's Spirit leading instead of the Sabbath as the seal? Ephesians 1 verse 13 to 14.
It's not either or.
Okay.
It's both and. One incorporates the other. You know, we're in the end, we're striving to be like Jesus. We're striving to exemplify him in all that we do. We're striving to be selfless, to die to self, to purge sin. We're striving for all of these things. That entails striving for the seal of God. It entails striving to receive the character of Jesus Christ. It entails avoiding the Sunday law. They're all part of the same package. You pick up one, you're picking up everything. Okay? If you want to be saved, you're picking up perfection. You're picking up Sabbath keeping. You're picking up country living. It's all part of the same deal. Okay?